ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्ज्ञानाञ्जनाश चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नमस्ते सरस्वती वरदानि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष हे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 24th chapter. I believe it will cover till text 4, so now we start text 5. ततो अधस्ताद् यक्षरक्ष पिशाचप्रेतभूतगणना विहारधिरम् अन्तरिक्षां यावद्वायु प्रवति यावन्नेक उपलभ्यन्ते beneath Vidyadhara Loka, Sharana Loka, and Siddha Loka, in the sky called Antariksha, are the places of enjoyment. For the Yakshas, the Rakshasas, the Pishachas, the wolves, and so on, Antariksha extends as far as the wind blows, and the clouds float in the sky. Above this, there is no more air. Page 6. ततो अथास्तयोजनान्तर इयं पृथ्वी यावद्धां सभाषस्मे सेन् तपर्नदयः पदाधरि प्रवरा उत्पातान्तिति. Below the abodes of the Yakshas and the Rakshasas, by a distance of 100 yojanas, which is 800 miles, is the planet Earth. Its upper limits extend as high as swans, hawks, eagles, and similar large birds can fly. So, where the air as well as the limits of the wind and the clouds in the sky, that is the place of the Yakshas, Rakshasas, Pishachas, and ghosts. 100 miles, 800 miles below that is the Earth. उपवर्णितं भूमेर्यथ सन्निवेशावस्थानम् अवनेरपि अधस्तात् सप्ता भूतरा एकैकशो योजनाच्युतान्तरे अयम् विस्तारेणोपकलिप्त अतलम् Mithalam, Sudalam, Talatalam, Mahatalam, Rasatalam, Patal. My dear king, beneath this earth are seven other planetary systems, and they are called as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. I have already explained the situation of the planetary systems of the earth. The width and length of the seven lower planetary systems are calculated to be exactly the same as those of Earth. Text 8. एतेषु निमितस्वर्गेषु स्वर्गाधिककाम भोगेश्वर्यानन्दभूति विभूतिभिः सुसमृद्ध भावनोऽद्य विहारेषु दैत्यदान कादरावेय नित्य प्रमुदिते अनुरक्त कालात्मत्यबन्धौ सुख अनुचर पतय ईश्वरादपि अप्रा अप्रतिहता काममाय विनोदा निवसन्ति. In these seven planetary systems, which are also known as the subterranean heavens, that is Bilva Svarga, there are very beautiful horses, there are very beautiful houses, gardens, places of sense enjoyment, which are even more opulent than those in the higher planet. Because the demons have a very high standard of sensual pleasure, wealth, and influence. Most of the residents of these planets, who are known as Daityas and Danavas and Nagas, live as householders. Their wives, children, friends, and society are fully engaged in illusory material happiness. The sense enjoyment of the demigods is sometimes disturbed, but the residents of these planets enjoy life without disturbances. Thus, they are understood to be very attached to illusory happiness. According to the statements of Prahlad Maharaj, material enjoyment is Maya Sukha, illusory happiness, illusory enjoyment. A Vaishnava is full of anxieties for the deliverance of the living entities from such false enjoyments. Prahlad Maharaj says, Maya Sukhaya Paramutvahato Vimudha. These fools, Vimudas, are engaged in material happiness, which is surely temporary. Whether in the heavenly planets, the lower planets, or the earthly planets, people are engrossed in temporary material happiness, forgetting that in due course of time, they have to change their bodies according to the material laws and suffer the repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. Not caring what will happen in the next birth, gross materialists are simply busy, enjoying during the present short span of life. A Vaishnava is always anxious to give all such bewildered materialists the real happiness of spiritual bliss. So these lower planetary systems, Satala, Vittala, Sukala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, and Patala, they are called as Bilva Swarga, in the subterranean heavens. There is Bilva Swarga, there is Bhaumya Swarga, and there is Swarga. Bhaumya Swarga is the other 8 varshas of Jambudvip, where life is 1000 years and the people live a heavenly life there. Only in Bharatvarsha, there is no Swarga. Other 8 varshas of Jambudvip, there is Bhaumya Swarga, 1000 years life. And then there is Swarga. Swarga means Swarga Loka. So Gandharvaloka, the Siddhaloka, Charanaloka, Gandharvaloka, Swarga. After that is the air or the Antariksha, where these the Bhubar Loka, where the ghosts and Bhutas and Rakshasas and Yakshas they dwell. And then there is Bhumandala, which is the earth. Below the earth, there are 7 planetary systems. Srila Prabhupada is explaining that when it comes to material pleasure, there is very high standard in these 7 uh, lower planetary. Why? Because the residents of these places are very much mad after this illusory pleasure, so they keep it up at any cost. As a point. Now, Prabhupada is making a point that in Swarga also there are some disturbances sometimes in the pleasure, the standard of pleasure. Why there is disturbance in Swarga? That has to be understood. So Swarga also has a very high standard of sensual pleasure, but it is being explained that sometimes there are disturbances, but here there are no disturbances because here the people are not ready to tolerate disturbances in their sense pleasure. So they are ready to do anything and everything to upkeep the sense pleasure. Whereas in Swarga there are disturbances in sense pleasure because in Swarga people are little pious. And whenever they invest in piety, the sense pleasure index goes down. That's the point. There are disturbances in sense pleasure because of that reason. Because they're a little pious, so then they give a little more weightage to God sometimes than sense pleasure. They're attached to sense pleasure, but they are also inclined to God somewhat. And whenever that inclination takes over, then there is disturbance in the sense pleasure. Obviously, sense gratification and Krishna consciousness go in together. But here the people are highly materialistic and atheistic in these swargas, and they are just mad after this illusory happens. So the residents of these planets enjoy life without disturbances. That means without enjoy the sensual life without disturbances. Because that's what they want, and that's what they are uh, crazy about, obsessed about. And that is why here the conclusion of Sukdev Maharaj is that thus they are understood very attached to illusory happiness. So they are not ready to tolerate any discrepancy in their practice of Krishna in their upkeep of the illusory happiness. That is the point. Any discrepancy in the upkeep of the illusory happiness. So when one is not ready to lower down one standard of illusory happiness even a little bit, uh, and one is not ready for that, when a little bit one is not ready to lower down the standard of illusory happiness, then uh, the practice of Krishna consciousness is impossible in these seven lower planetary systems. The spiritual life means tapasya. Tapasya means lowering down the illusory standard of happiness. That is the whole point. No, they are also very acutely suffering. These people in the lower planetary systems, they are very excruciatingly suffering. What is being talked about is they want to keep the standard of illusory happiness. Illusory happiness means it's suffering only, nothing else. But they are not ready to give it up. But because they are in illusion, they are not. So what is happening? A person in illusion will cry, 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 and even when at the time of his death, even he is about to die, but he will still not accept. He still want to go to self gratification. That is illusion. So suffering, to understand that I am suffering requires goodness. From the absolute standpoint, these lower planetary systems are very acute suffering, and that is why they are lower planetary systems. But the standard of illusory happiness is very high there, and they are not ready to lower it down even an inch. Therefore, there is not an inch of possibility of one becoming a devotee there. In Swarga also the possibility is less because again there is high standard of illusory happiness. So they're intoxicated. But because they are a little bit pious also, sometimes the piety takes over, and then therefore there is some chance that one can be Krishna conscious there. But in this material world, the high standard of illusory happiness is not possible. Because the high standard of illusory happiness is not possible, there is high possibility of Krishna consciousness. That is it. See, spiritual life develops by tapasya. We have to understand. If you want lasting happiness, we have to give up immediate happiness. It's either or, this or that. If you want lasting happiness, you have to give up immediate happiness. Because immediate happiness poisons the lasting happiness. So to get for lasting happiness to come in, immediate happiness has to be fleshed out. So spiritual life requires tapasya. Unless there's tapasya, there's no question of spiritual life. And tapasya means one has to give up the immediate flickering happiness. That's why immediately regulative principles come. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, no pornography, no woman hunting, no girlfriends, no money mongering, all one by one, cut, it comes. Why? Because if that is there, spiritual life cannot happen. One can choose to have those, but the spiritual life will not happen. So that's why it is a discipline. One is not strict with oneself, one is not having self-control, one is loose, one is wishy-washy, spiritual life cannot take it. Spiritual life cannot develop. You say, why can't I go slowly? You can go slowly. I mean, the danger is will not be able to, the motion will stop completely. That's the whole point. So, spiritual life requires tapasya. And Lord Krishna declares only mode of goodness, happiness means poison in the beginning, nectar in the end. So one has to accept that austerity. Immediately one will not experience the nectar. It will come in some time. But one has to keep it uh, and one who is not ready to do that, such a person very big possibility of spiritual advancement. So in the lower planetary system, there is no possibility of spiritual advancement. Because they are not ready to compromise the standard of illusory happiness. That is the point. So unless there is simplicity, unless there is an opulence for Krishna, simplicity for oneself, where is the question of spiritual advancement which can take place? That is the point. So if one remains attached to illusory happiness, therefore if one says, oh, can I keep all the dreams which I had before coming to Krishna consciousness, still be a devotee of Lord? No, no, sir, not possible. You can keep all the dreams, but if you want to become a devotee of the Lord, we have to modify, rectify, or give up those dreams. That is the point. So, one cannot keep all the dreams and aspirations which one had, because all those dreams and aspirations were done in a state of low consciousness when you are not even a devotee. What is the value of those dreams? Krishna consciousness has to come along with change of ambitions. One says, no, I'm not ready to change ambition. That means one is gambling with one's spiritual life. That means one is gambling with our spiritual lives. We were very young, not even chanting one round in Krishna consciousness. Radhan Maharaj clearly told us, now if you plan to go to America, you are planning to go to hell. We were not 16 rounders. I was 1 week old in Krishna consciousness. 1 week. I was given the beads the morning. The beads I had got the morning we were being taken to Mayapur. It was the second day I had got beads. The previous day only I had got beads. And the second day in Mayapur, that day we went to Mayapur. The next day we met Ranjan Maharaj. And Maharaj is telling, if you are planning to go to America, planning to go to hell. No? This is not a gear talk which Maharaj gave to 16 rounders, very dedicated, fixed up candidates. I was 5 days, 1 week old in Krishna consciousness. I was given beads. That was the second day I was touching the beads. Like that. Others were 5, 6 months. That's all. But sure enough, nobody was more than 1 round. So which means what? 1 round. Antadev Prabhu, Advait Prabhu, everybody 1 round. Yeah. Only Revati was chanting 8 rounds. That's all. Anyway, it was 4th year. For him, it was 15 days. Krishna consciousness. So the point is, so this has to be understood. This has to be understood. The material desires, the illusory happiness, one cannot cling on to. Can I continue my profession and be Krishna conscious? Yes. Can I continue my ambition? No. The level of engagement in material life has to be changed. If we want to engage the same fervor, yes, we can, but Krishna consciousness will not be possible. And that is the reason, unfortunately, many devotees 16 rounders who pass out, after passing out, are not able to continue chanting 16 rounds. Many initiated devotees, when they go here and there to pursue their ambitions and all that, they also give up 16 round chanting. Initiated devotees. This is the very reason, actually, that if one is so attached to illusory happiness that one is not ready to lower down the scale of it, then the spiritual advancement becomes very difficult. Spiritual advancement becomes very difficult. You can continue the same profession, but not at the same pace as we thought of in our illusory conception before becoming a devotee. That is the point. Unless we give space and time to Krishna, how will Krishna consciousness develop? That is the basic thing. Unfortunate thing is many devotees also feel that no, Krishna consciousness by default it will take place. So no consideration of time, no allotment of time, no allotment of space. Person thinks, oh, I want to become entrepreneur, no? I'll become $1 billion and I'll give some money to Krishna. Where is the guarantee that you will remain a devotee by the time you become a billionaire or entrepreneur? Where is the guarantee? So many times even devotees keep chasing after, oh, this fellow is giving me a higher salary, I'll go. But there's no consideration and calculation that okay, how much association will be there, what service they are offering us, no, this thing, no, bro. Krishna consciousness, that will fit it in, So Krishna consciousness will always fit it in. Material thing has to be very explicitly, space has to be created and planned, Okay, material things no tolerance. Hey, इधर भी नहीं होना चाहिए, like that. So then Krishna consciousness goes down. That is we are, and such a devotee is planning to go down in Krishna consciousness. It's a willful, cold-blooded, planned, attempts to lower down one's Krishna consciousness. So yes, we need to give up our attachment to illusory happiness. In order to attain that intensity of spiritual success. So you see, the planetary systems clearly depict us the upkeep and the attachment and obsession about illusory happiness and material attachment. That is the lowest thing in this creation. The Shastra is saying, okay, uh, at least give an equal priority to spiritual upkeep. Then that is the level of Swarga. And then if one starts giving a little more priority to spiritual life, then one goes to Vidyadhara Loka, Siddha Loka, Charana Loka, then Maharloka, Jana Loka, Tapa Loka, then Brahma Loka. And one gives even higher priority to spiritual life, then one is taken back to God. Like that. So you see, this is how the planetary systems are. The upkeep of illusory happiness, that is the lowest thing, in this material creation. Lowest thing. Here people are so much obsessed. Just like see, you go to the hostel also, some students say, oh, I have to cycle 15 minutes and come. Why should I cycle 15 minutes and come? अरे वो 15 मिनट साइकिल करने से वो कितना यूनिवर्स में साइकिल करते रहते हैं ब्रह्मांड भ्रमित है कौन हो भाग्यवान जी वो 15 मिनट साइकिल करके कृष्णा मिल रहे हैं some people say अरे 3 टाइम आना पड़ेगा साइकिल चला के प्रसाद के लिए क्या फायदा प्रसाद करके क्या फायदा 3 टाइम इधर आने से वो मिलियंस ऑफ टाइम जो ऊपर नीचे घूमते रहते हैं that ब्रह्मांड भ्रमित है that is getting off. Is it not? Other has to keep cycling from Brahmaloka to Patala. In between special picnics to hellish planets. There are 28 of them. Special picnics, concentration camps. So that is the point. Better than that cycling is this cycling. At least 10-15 minutes you can chant Hare Krishna and come peacefully. Anyway, Nalanda to hostel is also 15 minutes only. It's the same. Nalanda to hostel, Nalanda to here is same. So one is not ready to little bit, some people feel, hey, temple we go, we are supposed to sit down, I'll sit on a easy chair only, So a little bit also one is not ready, Some people say that, oh, lot of crowd will be there, Sometimes they call the people very nice, please come for Rath Yatra, and then they don't come. So why did you come? No, I don't want to go to crowd. अरे बाबा पाताल में और रसातल में तलातल में और नो हेलिस प्लैनेट में कितना क्राउड होता है पता है क्या? So so this is, so one has to lower down one's illusory attachment. Huh? One has to lower down one's illusory attachment to grow in spiritual life. Otherwise, the growth in spiritual life is not possible. As if one says, I want food like this only, masala should be like this only, that only, it should be cooked in this ghee only, this brand only. Forget Krishna consciousness, very difficult. So, very difficult. One has to give up illusory attachments to mundane happiness. Then only one can rise spiritually. Otherwise, one cannot grow in spirituality. So here people will become very intolerant. See, some glimpses we can see in this world also. Like some nowadays, sometimes some people, even if you are playing kirtan in your home, they will start crying. They'll say, "No, why is the sound coming? We are getting disturbed in our sleep." अरे I've been sleeping for millions of lifetimes. No, और कितना सोगे गधो उठो, no? You fools, rascals, wake up. Nonsense, Yeah, but they're not ready to tolerate. Like in Chopati, they had done police complaint against the temple. That is why the morning program had to shift it to 5 a.m. instead of 4:30. That police complaint. Yeah. In Boston also. Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharaj, Krishna Maharaj, Shiv Prabhupada ki jai. In Boston also they had done police complaint. They cannot tolerate the they cannot tolerate they cannot tolerate the
उतना दूर जाना नहीं है.
so they cannot tolerate the sound of the kirtan. They are saying that the sound of kirtan is very disturbing, so they are not able to tolerate. But the dogs will bark at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, that is no problem. क्या गारंटी है कुत्ता भौंकेगा नहीं 4 बजे? कोई गारंटी? Is there any guarantee dog will not bark? Can you tell him it is 4 o'clock, please don't bark? Yeah. So you see, can a dog be told to behave yourself? This is the night time. This time you don't bark and all that. May not bark, but if it barks, he may bark also. Where is the guarantee? Where is the guarantee? Sometimes whole night they keep howling. You've seen sometimes the street dogs whole night they keep, and people say शायद कुछ बुरा होने वाला है, वो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ना? अच्छा एक ऑस्पिशियसनेस ना कीर्तन है देर तो ये क्यों नहीं सोते अच्छा कुछ होने वाला है ना. So one is not ready to tolerate, little bit. If you go to some people's homes and knock the door and say, okay, sir, would you like to take Gita? How dare you barge into my privacy? I will put you behind the bars. I will get 10,000 rupees fine on you.
ये रेलवे स्टेशन ये वाला है, न्यू वाली.
The dog is barking.
महावीर तला मतलब ये रोड स्ट्रेट उधर मिलेगा ना, उधर आगे वहां पे
कैसे जाने से पूरा हो जाएगा मेकअप. आप रूट एक बार समझ लीजिए, हमको घूमने नहीं होगा. ऐसे इधर से निकलेंगे रविंद्र सरोवर करके, उसके बाद कितना करेंगे देखिए.
So you see, when people are so intolerant, why are you so forceful? And forceful नहीं है. You're giving a proposal. है कि नहीं? Accept or not accept
इधर
is
में
your
चलिए तो उठ जाते लगाते
but proposing what's wrong with that? So sometimes you see when person is not ready to even an inch give space, lower down one's standard of illusory happiness, then there is zero probability of happiness. See, these are the people. Why are you barging in my privacy? अरे गधो तुमको बोलेंगे नहीं कि तुम गधा ना क्या ना so that is the idea.
সত্তা পাবু লেখে গিয়া
ওইসব আমার দেখে
হরিরাম
লাভ নেই, আমার কথা পরিষ্কার
আপনার
কথা,
জানি।
আমি বেহালায় যাচ্ছি, বেহালা থেকে আসানসোল যাবো, তা তুমি দেখো যে यहाँ लगा दीजिए ना, তাহলে
इधर जाना है
इधर ही बस।
बस इधर 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 लगा तुम কথা বলে না
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, তুই এক কাজ কর,
ज्यादा दूर नहीं जो सामने में लगाना है
হ্যাঁ ওখানে
Okay. Just in case something. That's it. I make my head co-host. I give some data. So you see, this is the point here that the people here there are they don't want to even a nanometer of space they don't want to give to anybody. They are so much obsessed. They're so much obsessed. Huh? That is the idea. Let's read further. येषु महाराज मायेन माया विना विनिर्मितः पुरुणानमनि रावरा प्रभा प्रवेका विरचिता विचित्र भवना प्रकार गोपुर सभ्यचैत्य शतवरायात अनादिभिः नागसुरा मिथुना पर्वत सुखसारीककिरणा कृत्रिमा भूमिभिर्विवरेश्वर गृहोत्तमे समलङ्कृता सकाशति. My dear king, in the imitation heavens known as Vila Swarga, there is a great demon named Maya Danav, who is an expert artist and architect. He has constructed many brilliantly decorated cities. There are many wonderful houses, walls, gates, assembly houses, temples, yards, temple compounds, as well as many hotels serving as residential quarters for foreigners. The houses for the leaders of these planets are constructed of the most valuable jewels, and they are always crowded with living entities such as Nagas and Asuras, as well as many pigeons, parrots, and similar birds. All in all, these imitation heavenly cities are most beautifully situated and attractively decorated. So one should not give much weightage and value to this external attractiveness. Many times Western countries are like this only. And looking very attractive, very sleek, yeah? Very attractive, very lot of space is there, you know? And but mentality asuric, envious, naga mentality, asuric mentality. So external beauty can be very fleeting and misleading. That is the lesson we are learning. The Bila Swarga is exactly like that. External beauty, very posh. One may say, oh, it's better than Singapore, better than New York. Yes, definitely. But zero possibility of Krishna consciousness. Zero possibility. उद्यनानि चतितरं मन इन्द्रियाणादिभिः कुसुमफला स्तब्ध सुभागा किशलया वनात् रुचिरवितापदापिना लताङ्कलिङ्गितानां श्रीभिः समिथुन विविधाभिहङ्गम जलाशयानामलजलापूर्णानां झासकुलान् शुभित नीरज कुमद कुबलया कहलान नीलोत्पल लोहिता शतपत्रादिवने शुक्रतनिकेतनामि कविहार कुल मधुर विविधास्वनादिभिः इन्द्रियोत्सवेरमरलोकश्रियम् अतिशायितनी. The parks and gardens in the artificial heavens surpass in beauty those of the upper heavenly planets. See? The trees in those gardens, embraced by creepers, bend with a heavy burden of twigs, with fruits and flowers. And therefore they appear extraordinarily beautiful. That beauty cloud attract anyone and make his mind fully blossom in the pleasure of sense gratification. There are many lakes and reservoirs with clear, transparent water agitated by jumping fish and decorated with many flowers such as lilies, kuvalayas, kahtaras, and blue and red lotuses. Pairs of chakravakas and many other water birds nest in the lakes and enjoy in a happy mood, making sweet, pleasing vibrations and are very satisfying, conducive to the enjoyment of senses. So I read this, one thought may come, is it a description of spiritual world being talked about? No, sir, this is the lowest planetary system of the middle world. No? So, like that. So, he can understand many things from this. The ambience seems to be the as opulent as spiritual world. It appears. Ambience seems to be as opulent and beautiful as spiritual world. So therefore, you see, although all these natural resources or these nature sceneries are present all around, in the Bilaswarga, none of that kindles any spiritual consciousness in these people. So thus we understand that actually this the nature's beauty is a very common thing. The nature's beauty is a very common thing. So they find all this opulence of the nature and they use this opulence for sense gratification. See, this goes to show one should not be too much enticed by this natural beauty and all that also. It can be, it's fleeting, is it not? A devotee may see such a beauty and a devotee may say, oh, this looks like Vrindavan, let's do Harikatha and Harina. That's what a devotee will feel. But these people say, oh, it is such a nice place, let's completely be lost in sense gratification. Same place. Same place. You see this Nalakuvar Manigri, they were there in this Mother Ganges. What is that? No? In Kailash. Near Kailash, the Mother Ganges near Kailash. Which Ganga? Mandakini Ganga. But Mother Ganges, Kailash is a very holy place meant for worshipping the Supreme Lord. Mandakini Ganga and Kailash is the holiest of the spots in Kailash. To perform tapasya, to worship the Lord. Nalagu or Manigri, when they came, they said, "Oh, such a beautiful place, let's enjoy full on sense gratification, full on lust." They were enjoying all the illicit sexual fantasies and all that. Very nasty. Yeah. And because it is a holy place, Narad Muni was very easily roaming around there. Means he was passing by that place. And therefore he encountered. And then he saw, Narad Muni saw, oh, shameless fellows. A holy place, they're doing sense gratification. Like that. Holy place, they're doing sense gratification. The ladies still covered themselves and out of shyness, they wore clothes and they, uh, at least ran and wore clothes and all that. But these men, Nalagur Mani, they were shameless. So it's the same place. Therefore, do not be attached to place too much. Whether a lot of trees, whether a lot of greenery, that is Vrindavan. No, that may be hellish planet also. Like sometimes they preach about the Western world and they say, "Oh, India very crowded," And on the West, you go a lot of greenery, a lot of space. You can roam around. There is so much air. There's so much of space. There's so much space to walk around and all that. But what good it is it? Is it fun? What good it is fun? In Australia, if you go outside the cities, 500 meters, you will find only one home. So you have kilometers of space. So much space is there. Like that, so much space is there. What good? What good? So, why not doing bhajan kirtan there? The people are doing sense gratification. They lost so much in the sense gratification. Nobody to disturb also. कोई होगा तो disturb करेगा ना. Yeah. Yeah, they were listening. Purushottam Prabhu, he called in his house. We had gone. We were doing kirtan. I was playing Mridangam. Prabhu said, "Hey, softly, softly, I said softly. I said, "नहीं जोर से नहीं बजा सकते हैं ना." The same point that people are not ready to tolerate, little bit disturbance. But you see the point. One should not be too much obsessed about. Sometimes people feel, why staying in a temple in a city, it's crowded, so many devotees, there's no much place to walk, there's no fresh air. Let me go to Vrindavan, let me go to Mayapur, there'll be a lot of space, a lot of greenery. अरे space greenery तो इधर भी है. The Vrindavan space greenery will not give us Krishna consciousness. The commitment to the instructions and the mission of the spiritual master will give us Krishna consciousness. People go to Vrindavan space and greenery and do sense gratification. दिमाग तो वही है, यहाँ पे रखेंगे वृंदावन में रखेंगे, दिमाग थोड़ी चेंज होता है. If the mind is lost in sense gratification, even if you put it in Vrindavan, still it will think of sense gratification. Mind will not change. The mind will only change when we change our activities. That is the point. Like Badrinath is a holy place. People started going to Badrinath for people. What for they go Badrinath? People go for all sightseeing and all that, all kind of sensual, It is meant for tapasya and brahmacharya. Badrinath is a place for brahmacharya, One should chant 192 rounds when one goes there. Sleep 4 hours, eat only one time, And that is what that place is meant for. Nana Rishis did that, But people go for even more sensual enjoyment, Many people go up till that place, but they don't go to Badrinath spot. They go to Joshimath. Joshimath is the India's top place for ice skiing. So in Joshimath there is Auli. And all India competitions happen in November, December month in Auli. And full on sense gratification, That is why there was flood in Mother Ganges and everything was devastated. Some years back. All the roads and everything, and so many people died. And the local people were giving this as their verdict. So this is the place of the gods, is Devabhumi, but people are using it for sense gratification. The gods have retaliated. Behave yourself, again the retaliation will come otherwise. That was the local people, this was their verdict, why this happened. They were not crying, why this happened, why God made this happen. Now God, you're doing sense gratification in a holy place, like that. Yeah. So one should not be enticed by externals. Externals are here also so much, but people are using it for sense gratification. That is why you see, when there is opulence in the spiritual world, this kind of scenic opulence, and the devotees of the Lord, they interpret this opulence, they consider this opulence as a disturbance. They consider this opulence as a disturbance because they don't want to be distracted by the service to Krishna. However, there are all those resources, they take that and offer it to Krishna, but for themselves they consider it to be disturbance. And here, for themselves, they consider it to be a disturbance. So you see, sometimes people ask that, okay, if India is so spiritually this thing and if spiritually is the only thing and everything, why other Western nations are more advanced materially? And Bilaswarga is so advanced. Bilaswarga is Western world square, It is so advanced. Because people are obsessed. Krishna is giving. Krishna is giving, but people are so obsessed. But there is no possibility of Krishna consciousness. अच्छा है थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे होना चाहिए. It is good that material things and material life is little up and down, so that we are level-headed and we are not intoxicated. Otherwise, this is cheating. Nah, see, if one is facing the problems of the material world, then one will have realization this material world is a nasty place, I have to get out of it. And one will keep one's focus on Krishna. If one situates oneself with too much luxuries, then one has created an illusory atmosphere. Now one is seeing, oh, everything is very good. And the fervor for Krishna consciousness will not come. And all of a sudden, immediately one will come to the point of death. And then everything is hot, exploded. So how long we can cheat ourselves with by adding layers and layers of intoxication? One will say, I'm all good, I'm getting 4 lakh salary, I have a Rolls Royce, not a Mercedes, and I have a beautiful wife, I have all the opulences and all that. How long? After that, one will not even get a human body. That's simple as that. And then people will be saying, oh, I am eating beef. But you see, still I am the best in my profession. Still thousands of people are coming to me. Still I'm publishing papers, still I'm making millions of dollars. So what good is chanting? And what are the verdict of the Shastras? Just wait and watch. There will be nobody else to watch. The person himself will watch. A person himself will watch. What is going to happen? Like that Devothi's doctor and Premada Birla, he was challenging her. He said, I ate beef. But all of you Vaishnava, you're chanting and all that. But now you are coming and taking shelter of me only. See? Because I'm expert. But I just wait and watch. And the reaction will come. That such a fellow, he will cry and cry for lifetimes and lifetimes. And nobody, and his sound will not reach anybody also. That's what happened to this material world. Why people they say no to Krishna consciousness, or they very easily say no, is that because people are obsessed about creating layers and layers of intoxication. And they want to, and that is why Prabhupada is saying here, and the Shastras are saying, see, that means what? They're short circuiting life. They don't want to face the reality of life. So then what will happen? Flick, and everything is gone. And then the next life, they will see they are not here. They are way below the hellish planets. That is the whole point. The person thinking, no, I am committing sin. I am almost as good as before. That's what people feel. That's what people feel. Sometimes people feel, now, okay, I have had illicit relations, but I'm continuing. No problem. My job is there, my everything is going on, money is coming, everything is there. What's wrong? What's wrong? It will come. So one can upkeep, one can make walls of illusion, but these walls can at max sustain. See, this is not happiness. This is not happiness. People are miserable. People are miserable. They're tormented by their mental. But they want to keep themselves in layers and layers of intoxication. These layers will break off at the time of death. And then one will realize what one did. Now one is way, way far off from human life. Way far off from human life. And the Lord says, Moghasha, Mogha Karmanu, Mogha Jnana Vichetasaha. Such people, life after life, I cast them into hellish species of life. This is Lord Krishna saying. That is why. So one should not be lost. So they are using these material resources to get lost. That is why we should not give too much weightage to nature, resources, facilities, and luxuries. So, what is Vrindavan? Wherever there is service, is Vrindavan. That is the point. Another thing we can see that people here are so much obsessed about material life. Still Krishna is giving them facilities. See, that is heart of Krishna. This is Krishna's heart. That's the lowest mentality of the people. They are not ready to give a nanometer of space. They don't want their illusory happiness level to be disturbed even a nanometer. And still Krishna is giving them, okay, take fruits, take vegetables, take lakes, no problem. Fine. Someday you may return. That's Krishna's heart. Yatra bhayam atoratraadhi kala vibhage upalakshate. Since there is no sunshine in those subterranean planets, time is not divided into days and nights. And consequently, fear produced by time does not exist. Fear produced by time. See, time produces fear. Yes, on the earth, the time produces fear. Why? Because when it is daytime, thieves are fearful. So go away. How I say, let us close our nasty activities. All illicit activities, all ghastly, nasty activities happen in the night when people are sleeping. Because there is the time clock, sun, day and night. In day, everybody gets up, so everybody is watching. Not like that. And in day, everybody is watching. So therefore, one cannot commit nasty activities in daytime. Then one does it in the nights. Like that. Daytime one cannot do all thievery, all nasty activities happen in the night. So there is fear of time. But this, there is no sun, there is no daylight, no, and there is nobody who's wake up. Everybody is sleeping all the time. Sleeping literally and sleeping in sense gratification. Same. And that is why the fear produced by time does not exist. That's what it means. When night passes, the day comes, people are feel little hope. अभी problem हट जाएगा ना. Like in the night, one is in a forest, one will feel very fearful. The daytime, not fearful. My cousin says daytime, चलो कोई ना कोई मिल जाएगा ना. Night, very deadly, na. People will fear. So, like that. Daytime one has a guarantee that one can seek help. Here, nobody can seek any help because there is no daylight, there is no sunshine. So, one is enjoying. As soon as one becomes victimized, nobody can help. Nobody will help because everybody is lost in their own search. There's Bilashwarga. Want to go there? Can enjoy so much. ISKCON temple, so much enjoyment will not be there. Yatra ki namesake. In our earth also we have temples, but there are no deities in the temples also. There is one lotus temple in Delhi. What is there in the temple? Nothing is there. We can go and sit and do what? Nothing. Do what? Nothing. There's no deity, there's no photo, there's no shastra, there's no nothing. You just meditate on what? Nothing. That means do what? Nothing. What it is meant for? Nothing.
And the problem was we have to sit quietly there. So that we are bowling like that.
Nowadays people can sit quietly, because they are very loud here. Externally they may be very quiet. Internally they are lost here. Like that. Right. So these kind of temples will be there. And sometimes their temples are demigods. So here we say, at least on earth, the people say, Deva, Deva, तुमसे बढ़कर कौन? तुम्हारे भक्तगणों में हमसे बढ़कर कौन? वहां पे वो भी नहीं बोलेंगे, फर्स्ट पार्ट नहीं बोलेंगे, सेकंड पार्ट बोलेंगे. Here also people put Ganesha, Lord Ganesh and Mother Durga, deities, and they are singing on, and they are dancing on sensual and sexual songs and all that. They are playing nasty songs, and in front there is Ganesh. But boy, girls in gaudy kind of clothing and bodily conscious clothing, they're dancing and all those kind of things. They're doing all those, People do that. They do dandiya. No, what are they doing in dandiya? No? What are they doing in dandiya? No? Sometimes that dandiya night they do, and Daishampu used to tell that after dandiya night there are so many abortions the next day. After all dandiya nights, the what is that mortuary word? No, abortion hospital is called as gynecology hospital. Mortuary. Yeah, I mean the gynecology hospital is like a mortuary only, no? They are killing the dead, the living baby. Like that. Yeah, they're killing the baby. How the hell they get the right to do that? So the so you see that why, so they're using everything and anything. These kind of temples will be there in the Bilaspur. On earth also we see glimpses of this. On earth also we see glimpses of it. There are different lighting systems. Yeah, there are different lighting systems. The snakes have the jewels in their hoods. That's how they are lit. Yeah. Yeah. There is many meditation down the ocean also. The sun rays may not reach there. But 10 kilometers is ocean bed, some places. तो 10 किलोमीटर थोड़ी ना सूर्य की किरणें जाती होंगी, तो फिर वो मेडिटेशन कैसे हो रही है? Different ways how meditation है ना. Only enjoyment they want. Only sense enjoyment. Here they are only means there they are required to they are biased and they are getting their facility. Here they are going only for sense enjoyment, their struggle will be much more than. Yes, the struggle is much more. So their suffering also much more, their lifespan is much less. Yeah, struggling more. Lifespan is much less. Yeah, internal struggle is. In the heavenly planets, the sense enjoyment will remain for a long time because they are pious. But in between, they give more value to religion than their sense enjoyment. That's why they are demigods. And those who have more piety element, then they don't stay in Swarga. Then they stay in upper planets. Siddhaloka, Charanaloka, Maharoka, Janaloka, Tapaloka. यत्र हि महिषि प्रवार शिरो मनयः सर्वं तमा प्रबद्धन्ते. Many great serpents reside there with gems on their hoods, and the effulgence of these gems dissipate the darkness in all directions. Yeah, like people stay in coal mines. These are like coal mine planets, They're enjoying. Why? They have light on their hoods. Same thing. Coal mine planets. Yes. Yes. Yes, we say that story. Yeah, he was 5. So that's very true. You see that the same thing. They have some lighting, Nava eteshu vasatam divya ushadi rasana panam snanadibhiradhayo vyadhayo balipalita jaradayashade vaivaranya dorgandhyasve daklamaglam nirtivayo avastascha bhavanti. Since the residents of these planets drink and bathe in juices and elixirs made from wonderful herbs, They are free. They are freed from all anxieties and physical diseases. They have no experience of gray hair, wrinkles, or invalidity. Their bodily lusters don't fade. This perspiration does not cause a bad smell. They are not troubled by fatigue or any lack of energy or enthusiasm due to old age. So somebody is saying that, okay, I am suffering with any such thing like this, anxiety, physical disease, gray hair, wrinkle, fatigue, lack of enthusiasm, old age, bad smell, and all that. You know? Yeah? Everybody says, I am suffering with all this. No, why? No? And we can tell them it's very good that you are suffering from all this. It's very good that you are suffering from all this. Not only you, I am also suffering from all this. It is very good. It is a great fortune that all these sufferings are there so that we are not lost to intoxication. So that we understand material world is a bad place and we can attempt to go back to the spiritual world and gain success in that. Because when there is no physical distress, no wrinkle, no there, then a person will say, "Yeah, बस ठीक है, फिर Krishna consciousness क्यों करें?" And the fervor for Krishna consciousness will not come. So sometimes people say that, oh, why if we don't want to surrender to Krishna, why does not God give us all material opulences and health? Yes, He gives in Bila Sarga. And you continue your path of sense gratification, you will land there. All the best. Krishna is so merciful. People are saying, Krishna, I will not surrender to you. I will not follow you, but you give me everything. Krishna still gives them everything. But what is the result? These people are the most frustrated. Although the standard of enjoyment is so much, but there is no auspiciousness in their lives. Nahi tesham kalyanana prabhavati kutaschana mrityor vina bhagavat tejasas chakrapadesa. They live very auspiciously. They live very auspiciously and do not fear death from anything but death's established time, which is the effulgence of Sudarshan Chakra of the Supreme Personality of God. See, Prabhupada is saying that is the defect of material existence. Everything in the subterranean heavens is very nicely arranged. They are well situated residential quarters. There is pleasing atmosphere. There are no bodily inconveniences. There are no mental anxieties. Nevertheless, those who live there have to take another birth according to karma. Persons whose minds are dull cannot understand this defect of a materialistic civilization, aiming at material comforts. One may make his living conditions very pleasing for the senses, but despite all these favorable conditions, one must in due course of time meet death. The members of a demoniac civilization endeavor to make the living conditions very comfortable, but they cannot check death. The influence of Sudarshan Chakra will not allow their so-called material happiness to endure. So full on material happiness, no disturbance, no anxiety, no problem. But when death comes, everything full stop. Finish. And now next body that they will not get. Next body according to karma. Is it not? Yasmin pravishta suravadunam prayah savanani bhayat eva shravanti patanti cha. When the Sudarshan disk enters those provinces, the pregnant wives of the demons all have miscarriages due to the fear of its effulgence. Atatale maya putra surubalo nivasati yena hava idashashta sannavate maya kaschanadyapi maya vino madharayanti yasya tajrim bhavanasya mukhatas त्रया स्त्रीगणा प्रपद्यन्त स्वेदिन्यः कामिन्यः पुंश्चल्य इति वै विलायनां प्रविष्टम् पुरुषं रसेन हतकाख्येन साधायित्वा विलसा भलुकनोरागस्मितः समललुपा समललपो पकुहानादिभिस्वैरं किल रमयन्ति यस्मिन् उपयुक्ते पुरुष ईश्वरो सिद्धोऽहमिति अच्युतमः गजः बलम् आत्मनम् अभिमान्यमानः कथते मदन्ध इव मद अंध blinded by false prestige. Mada andha. My dear king, now I shall describe to you the lower planetary systems one by one, beginning with Atala. In Atala, there is a demon, son of Mayadana, who's named Bala, who created 96 kinds of mystic power. Some so-called yogis and swamis take advantage of this mystic power to cheat people even today. Simply by yawning, the demon Bala created 3 kinds of women, known as Swarini, Kamini, and Pumsili. The Swarinis like to marry the men from their own group. The Kaminis marry men from any group. And the Pumsilis change husbands one after another. If a man enters the planet of Atala, these women immediately capture him and induce him to drink an intoxicating beverage made of a drug known as Hataka, the cannabis indica. Cannabis indica. Cannabis is ganja, na? Bhang, ganja. Marijuana. Cannabis is bhang. This intoxicant endows a man with great sexual powers or prowess, of which the women take advantage for enjoyment. A woman will enchant him with attractive glances, intimate words, smiles of love, and then embraces. In this way, she induces him to enjoy sex with her to her full satisfaction. Because of his increased sexual power, the man thinks himself stronger than 10,000 elephants and considers himself most perfect. Indeed, illusioned and intoxicated by false pride, he thinks himself God, ignoring impending death. So the pleasure here is of a very nasty grade. Very nasty grade pleasure. Even life is a great fortune. But even if one wants to enjoy sex, how much one can enjoy? So the human body doesn't give that capacity. Yeah. They get the benediction, they get that capacity. See, in human life, people are striving hard to increase their sexual energy, and they're taking medicines, research is going on, and all that. They are Prabhupada used to say they're they're transplanting glands, sexual glands of monkeys, and all those kind of nasty things. So no need, Atala, you drink one juice and so much nasty energy comes. You can enjoy so much sexual energy. But what a third grade, D grade level of happiness. Very unfortunate. So therefore, would like to go there and then try out Krishna consciousness. Impossible, you see? Impossible. This is Atala, where there is Mayadeva's demon's son, Bala, and there is Pumsili, there is Swarini, and there is Kamini, Pumsili, Swarini, Kamini. Very dangerous. We'll stop here for today. So we'll hear the description of the other planets in the next class. Atala, Vitala, Sutala. Kratra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Bol.